8 years ago, I immigrated to the United States from Ukraine, armed with a computer science degree and ambitions fueled by the thriving software engineering market. I landed a job at a tech firm in Denver, where I crossed paths with Amanda, a charismatic marketing manager characterized by her boldness, beauty, and striking blue eyes. Our friendship swiftly evolved into romance during our 18-month courtship, marked by hikes through the Rockies, shared Broncos games, and weekend escapes to Aspen. Amanda introduced me to her Colorado Springs family, while I showed her how to prepare borscht in the traditional Ukrainian manner that my grandmother used to make in Kiev. My proposal at Red Rocks Amphitheater during a sunset concert was met with an instant yes. However, our journey took a twist when Amanda attempted to sabotage my citizenship application through extortion. Fortunately, the justice system intervened, safeguarding my family and me. 6 years ago, we exchanged vows in a captivating ceremony at the Stanley Hotel. Her parents appreciated me, my sister arrived from Europe, and everything seemed flawless. The process of obtaining a marriage-based green card progressed effortlessly. We amassed a wealth of proof demonstrating our authentic relationship: photos from our honeymoon in Hawaii, shared bank accounts, a mortgage on our home in Thornton, insurance policies designating each other as beneficiaries. 2 years following this, we applied to lift the conditional status on my green card without encountering any obstacles. By then, Sophia, our daughter, was born when I turned 28 and Amanda, 25. Alex, our son, arrived 2 years later. Both children are native-born citizens, a source of constant pride for me whenever I glanced at their small passports. Over the past 5 years, I've maintained my status as a legal permanent resident. Under the 5-year rule, I am now eligible for naturalization without relying on my marriage to Amanda. 4 months ago, I submitted my N-400 application for citizenship, and the process appeared to be unfolding as expected. However, I should have given greater notice to the transformation in Amanda over the past year. It began subtly. She enrolled in an upscale downtown fitness studio, citing a desire for advanced workout sessions beyond our local community center's offerings. Her late-night work hours increased, and she started going out with friends on weekends while I was away on business trips. Our conversations dwindled, becoming primarily transactional. She seemed preoccupied, frequently glancing at her phone. I rationalized these changes as the stress of her new role as senior marketing manager, a position she had been promoted to 8 months prior and required managing larger accounts while traveling more herself. We were like ships passing in the night, but I assumed it was merely temporary. Regrettably, I was mistaken. Last Tuesday evening, everything shifted drastically. Upon my early return from a business trip to Austin, I planned to surprise Amanda with dinner from her favorite Thai restaurant. Upon entering the house, silence prevailed as Sophia and Alex were at grandmother's for the night. I announced, "I'm home unexpectedly," but received no reply. Her car was in the garage, so I knew she was here somewhere. I placed the takeout containers on the counter and ascended the stairs, pondering if she might be bathing. The bedroom door was shut, an unusual occurrence. I softly knocked and heard a muffled, a moment, followed by what sounded like shuffling. "Amanda, everything all right?" I inquired with concern, to which she responded tersely, "Yes, fine, changing clothes." A tension in her voice caused me to halt. I waited another minute before entering the room. Amanda was seated on our bed, fully dressed, yet her hair disheveled and her cheeks flushed. Her phone was clutched in her hand, which she swiftly concealed when I appeared. "You mentioned you wouldn't return until tomorrow," she stated without looking at me. "I finished work early and wished to surprise you with Thai food." Sitting next to her on the bed, I ask, "Are you all right? You seem troubled." She replies, "I'm fine, Dimitri, just exhausted." However, a foreign scent wafted through the air that wasn't her usual perfume, a man's cologne, unfamiliar to me. My gut nodded. "Amanda, whose cologne is this?" She pales, denying it. "I don't smell anything." I knew I wasn't hallucinating. The scent was faint but unmistakable and out of place in our bedroom. "Amanda, please, just tell me what's happening." She rises quickly, still holding her phone. "Nothing's happening, Dimitri. You're being suspicious." I observe that her phone is incessantly buzzing with messages. The screen keeps illuminating even when it's facing down. May I see your phone? What? Absolutely not. That's absurd. You don't have the right to demand access to my phone because you're having some kind of suspicion. I'm not suspicious. Something's amiss here, and I can sense it. Can I at least check the screen for any obvious signs? You questioned my behavior, the scent of cologne, and my constant watch over my phone, reminiscent of protecting classified information. Amanda's jaw stiffened. All right, you want to know? I was conversing with someone, a friend. What type of friend? She replied after a brief pause. Just a friend, Dimitri. A male friend? Another, longer pause followed her response, revealing the secret. Yes, a male friend. So what's the issue? I can have male friends. In our house, while you're away. He wasn't here, Dimitri. We were merely texting. Then why do I detect cologne? After another pause, she spoke up. Listen, it's not as you imagine. Now tell me the truth. Amanda settled back onto her seat, her hands trembling slightly. His name is Carlos. He's an instructor at my gym. My heart dropped. A trainer. We've grown closer over the past few months. Quite close, I presume. How close? She avoided my gaze and focused on the floor. We have feelings for each other. How strong, Amanda. We care about each other deeply. And yes, we've become intimate. The quietness expanded between us like a void. Eventually, she nodded. A year elapsed as I committed myself to demanding work weeks, family support, business trips, and unwavering trust in her, all while organizing Sophia's birthday and Alex's kindergarten enrollment. A year, I repeated softly, my voice devoid of life. I can clarify. Clarify what? She questioned. How you deceived me for a year, how you allowed another man into our home, our bedroom, while our children slept nearby. It wasn't like that, she said. Then what is it like? Amanda stood, and her demeanor transformed. The remorseful, apologetic expression vanished, replaced by something harsher, icier. Perhaps this is for the best, she stated. Maybe it's time we were truthful about the nature of our marriage. What do you imply? I asked, perplexed. I mean, perhaps it's time to cease the pretense. Your allegation struck me forcefully. That's not accurate, and you know it. Do I? You required legal status, and I was accessible. The situation turned out ideal for you. Amanda, that's utterly untrue. We dated for a year and a half prior to our marriage. We share 2 children together. We've constructed a life together. A life that suits your immigration status remarkably well. A chill ran up my back. Why are you saying this? Because it's the truth. And if you attempt to divorce me due to the Carlos matter, I will ensure everyone knows the real reason behind our marriage. The truth is that I loved you. Or I did, just a few moments ago. The truth is that you married me for a green card, and I can substantiate it. My mouth went parched. Amanda, what are you referring to? I'm referring to the consequences of us immigration laws. The U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services suspects our marriage was a sham from the start, but it wasn't. We have 6 years of proof that it was genuine. Evidence can be subjective, Dimitri, and as the American citizen in this relationship, my testimony holds significance. I was taken aback by what you were saying. Are you actually considering deceiving immigration authorities? No, I'm not suggesting a lie. I'm warning you about the consequences of admitting to entering our marriage for legal reasons and then deserting me once you obtain citizenship. That's not accurate. It's my version of events. And when Uscis investigates suspected marriage fraud, they pay close attention to the American citizen's account. If there's evidence of fraud discovered, it won't merely reject your citizenship application. Instead, they'll take away your green card, initiate deportation procedures, and send you back to Ukraine. You stand to lose everything: your job, your home, your children. You wouldn't do that, right? File for divorce, and I'll report fraud to the Uscis the same day. Your eyes were fixed on her as this woman, whom I had loved and trusted for more than 7 years, someone who is also the mother of my children, appeared alien to me. Essentially, she was threatening that if you push for a divorce, she will ruin your life. However, if you don't, we find a way to make things work, living separate lives and co-parenting our kids while continuing your affair with Carlos. You no longer concern yourself with that matter, he said. Unbalanced, I rose. A breath of fresh air was needed. Consider carefully, Dmitri, consider what is at stake. Exited the bedroom in a haze, I did. Below, the Thai food on the counter grew cold, yet its scent evaded me. Only Amanda's warning reverberated in my mind. Your green card will be revoked, deportation proceedings initiated. Outside, under the cool Colorado night, I grappled with what had transpired. In just 10 minutes, I learned of my wife's infidelity and was warned about my future. The more I pondered, the uneasier it became. Amanda's swift transition from guilty confession to strategic warning hinted at premeditation. I dialed Sarah Kim, my immigration attorney, with whom I had collaborated during my green card process and removal of conditions. If someone could understand what I'm dealing with, it would be her, Sarah. Hey Sarah, it's Dmitri Volkov here. It's past midnight, but I have an urgent issue, sure. Dmitri, what's happening? My wife is threatening to denounce our marriage as fraudulent to Uscis if I file for divorce. There was a brief silence. Are you in a private place where we can talk? Yes, I'm outside my house. All right, let me ask you first, is your marriage fake? Definitely not. We have 6 years of proof showing it was legitimate. Joint bank accounts, mortgage, insurance, 2 kids, family photos, travel records, everything. That's good to know. My second question is, why is she doing this? I sighed deeply. I had just found out she's been having an affair for a year. When I confronted her, she immediately retaliated by threatening my immigration status. I see. Dmitri, please listen carefully. What your wife is doing is a form of immigration-related domestic abuse. Immigrating under duress or threat is considered both a state and federal offense. Manipulating someone's immigration status to exert control is illegal, as well as making false reports to Uscis, which falls under Title 18, Section 1001 of the S Code. Upon hearing this, I felt a glimmer of optimism. She might attempt it, but doing so would involve committing several crimes. You have certain advantages in this situation that you may not be fully aware of. For instance, you've been a legal permanent resident for over 5 years, right? This means you can apply for citizenship according to the 5-year rule, not the 3-year marriage rule. Your application for citizenship does not rely on your marital status. However, wouldn't a fraud accusation still pose an issue? A false claim could lead to delays and require you to prove the legitimacy of your marriage. But given your extensive documentation and the fact that you have 2 US citizen children, you would ultimately emerge victorious. If it's established the accusation was baseless and retaliatory, your spouse may face severe federal penalties. What is the course of action? Document all incidents. If she persists with threats, record them. If you reside in a one-party consent jurisdiction, Colorado falls under this category. You can legally record conversations without her knowledge in such states. Keep any menacing messages. Avoid responding to threats. Just document them instead. Should I file for divorce? That's your prerogative, but don't let immigration concerns influence personal life decisions. If you opt for divorce, we can ensure your immigration standing remains secure throughout the process. What about our children? They are US citizens by birth, and their status cannot be altered. As a parent, you possess irrevocable rights that won't be affected by immigration threats. I ended the call feeling slightly reassured yet disturbed. I spent another hour outside, trying to comprehend the situation. Upon returning indoors, Amanda was lounging in the living room as if nothing had transpired, casually asking if I felt better. Any improvements? She queried without giving me her attention. We need to discuss this logically. I believe I made my position clear. What you're implying is illegal. Amanda, it's referred to as immigration blackmail, and it's a federal offense. Only then did she turn to look at me, and I saw doubt flicker in her eyes. I'm not blackmailing anyone. I'm merely stating facts about marriage fraud. Facts? You are aware that our marriage wasn't fraudulent. You know we possess numerous pieces of evidence showing its legitimacy. Evidence can often be subjective. However, it does not change the fact when two citizen children are involved. Those kids don't prove anything regarding why you married me. I settled down across from her. Amanda, pay heed to my words. If you file false reports to Uscis, you will face federal charges for such crimes. Providing false information to a federal agency is a felony. Who asserts false claims. Since you recognize the truth, you're aware of our authentic marriage, the mutual love we shared, and the sincere life we constructed together. Was it so? Or were you merely engaged in an extended game? You fixed your gaze on her. Do you genuinely believe that? Do you truly think I spent 7 years feigning affection for you, having children with you, creating a life with you, all for a green card? For a brief moment, she faltered. Skepticism flashed across her face. I'm uncertain what to believe anymore, she whispered softly. Accept this. I loved you entirely until tonight. I put my trust in you unreservedly, and you've broken that. So, what happens next? We'll deal with this maturely, but I won't be intimidated, and I won't reside in a marriage where my wife is having an affair. Will you file for divorce? Most likely, not because you're coercing me, because our marriage has ended. Amanda's countenance stiffened once more. Then you know what I intend to do. Yes, I understand your intentions. That night, I ascended to the guest room without obstruction from Amanda. Lying there, I pondered over her chilling tone during her threats, which didn't resonate as a panicked woman, but rather a calculated one. Over the ensuing days, her actions corroborated my suspicions. She wasn't behaving like someone caught cheating. Instead, she was carrying out a plan. On Thursday morning, while she was in the shower, her phone vibrated with a text message. I instinctively peeked at it and saw an unfamiliar name, Carlos M. The brief preview read, "Did you inform him about the Uscis matter? How did he respond?" My blood turned icy. It appeared that they had discussed this beforehand. The immigration threats hadn't been a spur-of-the-moment reaction. They were part of a premeditated scheme. I swiftly snapped a picture of the message with my phone before Amanda emerged from the bathroom. Greeting me as if our situation remained unaltered, she commented, "Good morning." Offering coffee, she added, "I'm brewing some. Would you like some?" I consented. As she descended the stairs, her phone emitted a familiar buzz. A message from Carlos M. Read, "Remember our discussion. Adhere to the strategy." The strategy, it seemed, was meticulously orchestrated. Last Friday, Amanda had supposedly gone out with friends, but I knew she was with Carlos. Rather than addressing the issue directly, I chose to contact Sarah Kim once more. "Sarah, I have a development. I believe my wife and her affair partner have been plotting these immigration threats." "What makes you assume that?" I disclosed the texts I'd intercepted. "Did you save them as screenshots?" Affirmative. Excellent. That constitutes evidence of conspiring to commit federal offenses. Dmitri, I suggest we inform law enforcement about this matter. Indeed. Yes. This transcends marital issues now. This is a coordinated criminal effort to interfere with federal immigration procedures. What constitutes this? We would inform both local law enforcement and federal agencies about the threats. Immigration extortion falls within both state and federal purview. Wouldn't that affect my citizenship application? Quite the opposite. It could bolster your case. It demonstrates you are a victim of immigration-related crimes rather than the perpetrator. What about my children? Your kids are safeguarded. In fact, recording these threats can help establish your efforts to shield your family from manipulation. So, what's the plan of action? Document every instance. If she makes any further threats, try to record them. Save all text messages. And ponder whether you wish to submit a police report. That weekend was fraught with tension. Amanda gave off an air of normality around Sophia and Alex, but the underlying hostility was palpable. On Sunday evening, once the kids were asleep, she approached me in the kitchen. "Have you given any thought to what I mentioned earlier?" "What exactly did you mean?" "The intelligence part. Avoiding actions that could jeopardize your immigration status." I took out my phone and started recording, positioning it on the counter facing her. Why are you doing this? I'm recording this conversation. Shut it off. No. If you're going to make threats, let's have it documented. I'm not threatening you. Then what would you call it? Amanda looked at the phone, then back at me. I'm merely stating facts. In case of a divorce, I'd need to tell Uscis the truth about our marriage. What is that truth? That you married me for immigration advantages. And you are aware that this isn't accurate, aren't I? Yes, you are, just as you know that lying to federal agencies is a criminal offense. Who says my statements would be untrue? My dear, we have 2 children together. We've been married for 6 years. Our records show a legitimate marriage took place between us. This doesn't imply your intentions during our wedding were pure. It demonstrates we constructed a genuine life together, conveniently providing legal status for someone in need. I halted the recording at that point and ended the discussion. I'm through with this talk. Consider your options, Dimitri. Contemplate what you stand to lose. The following Monday, I phoned in sick and visited Sarah Kim personally. I played her the Sunday night recording. This is rock-solid proof, she said. She's clearly trying to manipulate you with false Uscis reports. What should my next move be? I recommend reaching out to law enforcement. I know a detective skilled in extortion cases, and I have connections at the U.S. Attorney's Office dealing with immigration offenses. Will this safeguard my citizenship application? It should indeed help. You will be labeled as a victim of immigration blackmail, and you possess proof that any accusations of marriage fraud are retaliatory and baseless. As for your children, they will be safeguarded. In truth, the courts tend to view negatively those who exploit immigration status to influence family dynamics. That afternoon, I had a meeting with Detective Frank Torres at the Denver Police Department. He was a quietly spoken man in his 50s who had spent more than 20 years investigating extortion cases. Mr. Volkov, I've gone through the materials your lawyer submitted. These threats undoubtedly qualify as extortion under Colorado law. So, what does that imply? It means your spouse is committing a felony by threatening to make false reports unless you comply with her demands. What happens next? We conduct an investigation. We'll require recordings of any further threats, and we need to compile evidence of the pattern of coercive actions. What about federal charges? Those would be handled by the FBI. U.S. Attorney's Office. Misleading Uscis is a federal offense, and collaborating in such acts is equally punishable under federal law. The duration for this process depends on the amount of evidence we can amass and whether further threats ensue, but expect it to span several months for an extensive probe. Regarding your citizenship application, consult with your attorney to communicate the situation to Uscis. Victims of immigration blackmail often receive lenient treatment. That night, I had a challenging discussion with Sophia and Alex. Kids, your parents are experiencing difficulties at the moment. 7-year-old Sophia appeared concerned. Are you separating like Emma's parents? We might, dear. However, understand that regardless of any changes between your mother and me, both of us deeply cherish you. Will you have to return to Ukraine? Her question took me aback. Why did you bring up the topic about you returning to Ukraine on the phone, Mommy? Hearing this in front of us children made mine heart heavy. It seemed Amanda had been discussing this openly. No, dear, I'm not leaving. This is my home, and you and Alex are my family. Promise. Despite assuring her, I felt the pressure of Amanda's threats. Tuesday evening, upon returning from the gym later than normal, Amanda appeared agitated. We need to talk, she said as soon as the kids were in bed. About what? About this police matter. My stomach tightened. What police matter are you referring to? Don't feign ignorance, Dimitri. I know you've been consulting lawyers and the police. How do you know that? I have my ways. Are you tailing me? I'm safeguarding myself. From what? From whatever plan you're concocting. I reached for my phone again, this time to record. Switch that off. No. Very well. Then let me make this clear. No. Fine. Then allow me to clarify. You mentioned a police matter. I want it explicitly stated. If you attempt to accuse or prosecute me, I will expose your immigration status so drastically that you'll find yourself on a flight back to Kiev without realizing what happened. How would I accomplish this? I will claim our marriage was sham, stating you paid me for it and threatening me if I didn't comply. And you know such claims would be lies. Can you prove otherwise? We have years of evidence demonstrating our marriage was legitimate. Evidence can be fabricated, Dmitry. In a dispute between an American citizen and a foreign national seeking citizenship, who do you think the authorities will trust more? The one telling the truth. Truth is subjective, and I am quite persuasive. What about our children? You are endangering their family in this matter. I'm ensuring our children aren't raised by a criminal father. I'm not a criminal. If you falsely accuse me, I will become one. I stopped the recording. This discussion has ended, Dmitry. Consider it carefully, Dmitry. On Wednesday morning, I played the newly recorded evidence for Detective Torres and Sarah Kim. She's being more explicit, the detective noted. That's actually beneficial for our case. How is that beneficial? Because now she's not only falsifying police reports, but also immigration reports, all of which are caught on tape. Sarah agreed with a nod. Moreover, it appears she's trying to hinder your cooperation with the law enforcement, another offense. What occurs next? We now have sufficient evidence to initiate charges, Detective Torres replied. I will be collaborating with the U.S. Attorney's Office regarding potential federal charges related to the immigration threats. How soon until she's taken into custody? It won't take long, was the detective's response. Complete the necessary paperwork and liaise with federal authorities. What should I do in the meantime? Continue documenting everything and prepare for her reaction once she realizes we're determined to prosecute. No need to wait long for that reaction. Thursday afternoon, a call from Sophia's school came at work. This is Principal Johnson from Mountain View Elementary. We require your presence urgently. What's the issue? Is Sophia all right? Sophia is well, but there's been an incident. Your wife was here this morning asking about the procedures if a parent might not be available to pick up their children. My blood ran cold upon hearing this. Explain what you mean, she inquired about what happens when a parent is deported. She hinted at possible immigration troubles for me. I'll leave work immediately and head to the school. I arrived, and Principal Johnson, a kind elderly woman, looked troubled upon my arrival. Principal Johnson, I need to clarify. There is no truth in the assertion that I will be deported. I'm a permanent resident applying for citizenship, and my immigration status is unquestionable. It's good to know this. However, I must ask if you and Mrs. Volkov are encountering marital problems. Yes, it appears so, as we are considering divorce. Understood. As someone with 3 decades of experience, I have witnessed parents using children during divorces as tools. We won't tolerate that behavior here. What do you mean by that statement? I am referring to the fact that both you and Mrs. Volkov are listed as authorized guardians, a situation that will not alter without a court order. Thus, your access to the children will not be impeded based solely on her assertions. Thank you for your understanding. Need to clarify, is there any basis to her claims concerning immigration matters? Taking a deep breath, I must reveal that my wife is contemplating false accusations towards immigration authorities as a means to exert control during our divorce proceedings. I am collaborating with law enforcement and immigration lawyers to deal with this situation. I'm sorry for the trouble. If you require any documents from the school regarding your child's education, we can certainly provide them. That may prove beneficial. That night, I phoned Sarah Kim to report Amanda's visit to the school. She indicated that Amanda is trying to separate you from your children, Sarah said. That's a form of domestic abuse. Can she actually limit my access? Only with a court order. Moreover, given her ongoing investigation for extortion, any attempt to interfere with my parental rights would not fare well in court. What should I do? Record this incident and reach out to the school to ensure they comprehend the legal situation. What is the anticipated timeline for Amanda's arrest? Detective Torres mentions they are concluding the charges imminently, likely by early next week. Following that, we'll observe her reaction. She might comprehend the gravity of the situation and retreat, or she could intensify matters further. On a Friday evening, Amanda confronted me immediately upon my return from work. "You visited Sophia's school." "Affirmative." "And you said what exactly?" "I disclosed the truth that you were planning to submit fabricated immigration reports." "That isn't accurate." "Then, what actually transpired between us at the school, Amanda?" "You were being forward-thinking regarding deportation procedures." "Why did you approach the school about deportation procedures?" "To be prepared for potential consequences." "I am not facing deportation." "Time will tell." "I once again initiated recording on my phone." "You must cease this behavior." "I must safeguard myself." "Against what?" "Against you ruining my life with unfounded allegations." "Unfounded accusations." "Demetri, I haven't leveled any accusations yet, but I will if compelled to do so." "What kind of claims are being made against us?" "That our marriage was a falsehood, that there were threats, and that there had been abuse." However, the specifics of the alleged abuse include emotional manipulation, controlling behavior, and attempts to compromise my immigration status. "But I'm not the one making such threats, aren't you?" "You're the one threatening me with arrest, which could affect my ability to work and support our children." "I'm merely reporting crimes to the authorities." "Alleged crimes." "Time will tell what a jury decides." After stopping the recording, "Amanda, this needs to stop. You're tearing apart our family." "I'm preserving it." "From what?" "From your infidelity and attempts to jeopardize my immigration status." "The affair is concluded." "Since when?" "Ever since things got difficult." "So, instead of destroying me, why don't we find a resolution that benefits everyone?" "But you'd rather end the affair by damaging me." "I'd prefer a resolution that works for all parties involved." "The proposed arrangement involves remaining married, maintaining separate lives, and co-parenting the kids, while you continue seeing Carlos. That's none of my concern anymore. If I don't consent, then you know the consequences: federal crimes leading to imprisonment or deportation with subsequent loss of assets." "Amanda, listen attentively. You won't prevail in this. You're engaging in serious crimes and will be brought to justice." Over that weekend, the longest of my life, Amanda seemed normal around the children, but I sensed escalating tension. I was aware that the police were readying for her arrest, and she was planning a countermove. On Monday morning, I received my response. "While at work, Sarah Kim called Demetri. We have an issue." "What's the problem?" "Amanda filed a fraud allegation with Uscis Fraud, Detection, and National Security this morning, claiming our marriage to be false." My deepest fears materialized. "What does that mean?" "Uscis is expected to defer a decision on your citizenship application while they conduct an investigation, which can last anywhere between 6 months to a year. During this time, you'll both be interviewed separately, your documentation will be reviewed, and there might be a home visit. However, we have substantial proof that your marriage is genuine, which will support your case in the end. Nonetheless, the process may be demanding and lengthy. Regarding Amanda's arrest, Detective Torres is proceeding with the investigation today. It seems she believed filing the Uscis report first would provide her some protection. On the contrary, it strengthens the extortion charges against her. This is because she has now carried out the threats she made, thereby committing a federal crime. Later that day, I received a call from Uscis. "Mr. Volkov." It was Officer Jennifer Walsh from Uscis Fraud, Detection, and National Security. "A meeting is required for discussing your ongoing N-400 application." "Sure. What date and time suits you best?" "Perhaps next Friday at 10 a.m. works. Our Denver office is the location." "Yes, I can make it. Remember to bring original documents related to your marriage and relationship with your wife, as this will be a comprehensive interview." "I understand. Regarding your application, there's been an accusation of fraud concerning your marriage. Do you comprehend?" "Yes, I do. I want to clarify that this allegation is baseless and retaliatory. You'll have the chance to refute it during our meeting. Your attorney has communicated with local and federal law enforcement about this issue. It appears your wife has been threatening to file false reports to Uscis as a means of extortion." "I see. Please have your lawyer share any pertinent details with our office. She will. Later that day, Amanda arrived home in a noticeably altered state of mind. Appearing unusually cheerful, she inquired about your day. How did yours go? You already know, don't you? You submitted a baseless report to Uscis. I submitted a report. Whether it's false or not remains to be determined. Amanda, don't you understand our marriage was legitimate? Don't you? Perhaps I was merely naive. Perhaps I failed to recognize the warning signs. What warning signs? The ones suggesting you were exploiting me. For 6 years? While raising 2 children together? Strange occurrences happen. Not typically. We'll see if Uscis shares your view. And we'll see if federal prosecutors consider your baseless report seriously. What baseless report? I shared my perceptions with them. You lied, and you know it. I expressed my doubts about our marriage. It's not lying. It becomes so when doubts are fabricated. Are they fabricated, Demetri? Or am I just becoming more aware now? I found myself gazing at her. She seemed to genuinely believe her own deception. Amanda, you will be apprehended tomorrow. For what? For extortion. This morning, my phone buzzed with a text from Sarah Kim informing me that Amanda was under arrest and in custody. After excusing myself from a meeting, I called her back to find out what had occurred. Detective Torres and federal agents arrested Amanda at her workplace this morning. She's facing state extortion charges and federal allegations concerning false statements made to Uscis. As per Detective Torres, she appeared shocked by the arrest, suggesting she didn't truly believe we would act on it. Later today, she will be arraigned, and if she manages to post bail, we'll see. I have already shared all relevant evidence, including recordings of Amanda's threats, with Officer Walsh for the ongoing Uscis investigation. Although there may be delays in my citizenship application process, it is expected that it will eventually be approved. The proof strongly suggests your marriage was sincere. One afternoon, Amanda secured bail. Her parents covered the bond, enabling her release with conditions that prohibited contact with you except concerning the children. That Wednesday evening, there was a knock at your door. It was Amanda's father, Robert. Demetri, can we discuss something? Naturally, I replied. A retired engineer, Robert was a reserved man who had always been courteous to me. He expressed concern, stating that Carol, and he didn't comprehend Amanda's actions. I appreciate your sentiment, I responded. We were aware of your affection for our daughter. We have witnessed you excel as a devoted husband and father for 6 years. Thank you, he said. We intend to testify on your behalf if necessary, whether for your immigration case or any other matter. You aren't obligated to do that, I responded. Yes, we are compelled, he asserted. This is not right, and we won't condone it. What about Amanda? They plan to secure her a competent lawyer, but they have made it clear she must abandon this charade and tell the truth. How did she respond? She remains evasive, I replied. She appears confused at the moment, likely due to fear and poor decision-making. I fervently hope my assessment is incorrect. May I pose a query to you? Of course. Will you prevent the children from seeing her? No, they require their mother, despite our marital dissolution. You are indeed a noble man, Demetri. In retrospect, last Friday morning, I sat in the Uscis office for an interview regarding fraud allegations. Officer Walsh was a stern woman around 40 who swiftly addressed the issue at hand. Mr. Volkov, I've scrutinized the accusation made by your spouse. She asserts our marriage was fabricated for immigration purposes. That accusation is baseless, Officer Walsh. I possess extensive evidence verifying the authenticity of our union. I've also perused information provided by my lawyer concerning extortion attempts. Could you elucidate that predicament? My wife threatened to submit false immigration records if I consented to remain married while she continued an extramarital affair with another man. Do you have proof of these threats? Affirmative. I require audio recordings, text messages, and testimonies. Have criminal charges been filed against your wife? Yes, she was apprehended on both state and federal charges on Tuesday. Officer Walsh took notes. Madam, I must examine all your marriage records. Could you recount the progression of your relationship in chronological order? For the subsequent 2 hours, I supplied extensive details about every facet of my relationship with Amanda, including our courtship, wedding, children, joint financial management, and shared career decisions. Officer Walsh eventually remarked that this was comprehensive documentation. It's evident that you and your wife established a genuine life together. Yes, madam. Despite any current issues, our marriage was legitimate at its inception and for the majority of its duration. Mr. Volkov, I propose that the fraud accusation be dropped. However, the processing of your citizenship application will be delayed for approximately 6 to 8 more months as we complete the necessary paperwork. I comprehend. Apologies for the hardship you're experiencing. Unjust accusations consume valuable resources and harm innocent families. Thank you for your meticulousness and fairness. 2 weeks following the incident, Amanda's criminal case reached a grand jury, resulting in indictments on various state and federal charges, including extortion, lying to federal agencies, and conspiracy. Her lawyer, David Morrison, contacted Sarah Kim about a plea bargain. He proposed that his client would confess to falsifying statements made to Uscis for reduced penalties. What concessions is she offering? Sarah inquired. She admitted to one count of making false statements, receiving probation and restitution. Regarding the extortion charges, she denied them. Even with recorded evidence, she asserts that they were misconstrued. David, given the severe federal penalties your client faces, you should advise her to accept any deal possible. I will speak to her. 3 months after Amanda's detention, we proceeded to trial. The authorities dealt with the blackmail accusations, while federal investigators managed the false testimony charges. The incriminating recordings I'd saved proved crucial. When played in court, Amanda's threats against Demetri were unmistakable. If you pursue a divorce over this Carlos matter, I'll expose the real reason we married. Her voice reverberated in the courtroom, hinting at the potential consequences of a fraudulent marriage being discovered by us Citizenship and Immigration Services. This could lead to revocation of your green card, Demetri, and subsequent deportation proceedings. Amanda's lawyer attempted to justify her words as emotional outbursts, but the recordings showed cold, calculated threats. Carlos was summoned as a witness. The fitness instructor appeared uneasy on the stand. Were immigration matters discussed with Mrs. Volkov? Inquired the prosecutor. Yes, to some extent. What specifically was discussed? Did you advise her to submit a report that could potentially implicate her husband in trouble? I suggested she take steps for her own safety, though I was unaware the reports would be false. Did you know she intended to submit reports that might harm her husband? Yes. The defense additionally called Dr. Elena Petrov as an expert witness in marriage fraud cases. Dr. Petrov, based on your review of the Volkov's marriage documentation, what is your evaluation? This marriage appears to be one of the most authentically documented and genuine I have ever encountered, with joint finances spanning 6 years, 2 children, extensive family integration, and shared major life decisions. There is no evidence at all suggesting fraud. What about the sequence of Mrs. Volkov's accusations? The timing appears suspicious. She made the allegation of fraud immediately after being confronted about an affair and shortly after threatening to do so. The evidence suggests this wasn't prompted by real worries, but retaliation. Testimonies from Amanda's parents detailed our courtship and early married life. They attested to seeing them fall in love, stating their relationship was authentic. Even Amanda's sister testified to lack of evidence indicating I married Amanda for immigration benefits. Given Dimitri's career success, he didn't require a green card. He married Amanda out of love. The trial spanned a week, with the jury taking less than 4 hours to reach a verdict. Guilty on all charges. Amanda was given a 14-month sentence in federal prison, followed by 2 years of supervised probation. She was also mandated to pay restitution for legal fees and Uscis investigation costs. Carlos admitted to conspiracy charges, receiving probation and community service instead. At the sentencing hearing, I was permitted to deliver a victim impact statement. This case transcends the issues of matrimony and migration. It's about exploiting an individual's most fundamental weaknesses. My spouse understood that endangering my legal standing jeopardized my capacity to stay with my children. She recognized that fabricated accusations could ruin not just my citizenship petition, but my entire existence in America. Extortion via immigration is particularly pernicious as it targets individuals who are already vulnerable. It transforms a system designed to safeguard families and offer avenues to citizenship into a weapon of destruction. My children had to witness their mother's arrest and court trial. They had to endure the apprehension of whether I might be compelled to depart from the country. This is an ordeal that will have lasting effects on them. However, it's crucial for the court to comprehend that I don't desire retribution against Amanda. She is the mother of my children, and I hope she receives the help necessary to transform into a better person and a more competent parent. The court wishes to convey a firm message: immigration status should not be exploited in personal conflicts. Judge Patricia Martinez, showing deep emotion, emphasized that this court treats immigration blackmail severely. Using an individual's immigration status for manipulation or intimidation contradicts the essence of what America stands for: a nation where people can create new lives without fear. Mrs. Volkoff, your actions were intentionally hurtful. You threatened to jeopardize your husband's relationships with his children and his standing in this country due to a marital dispute, which is unacceptable. While Amanda was detained, I was temporarily granted primary custody of Sophia and Alex. The court mandated family therapy and parenting classes for Amanda prior to her release. My naturalization application was eventually approved, 8 months following Amanda's false accusations. The delay was inconvenient, but Officer Walsh expedited it following the resolution of the criminal case. The naturalization ceremony took place on a sunny Tuesday morning in February. Sophia and Alex accompanied me, dressed in their finest attire. Do you solemnly vow to uphold and protect the Constitution of the United States against all adversaries, foreign or domestic? Upon raising my right hand and reciting the oath of allegiance, I reflected on the challenges I had overcome to reach this milestone. The anxiety, the apprehension, the intimidation, the legal disputes. However, I had persevered. Now, I was officially an American citizen. Following the ceremony, Sophia embraced me warmly. Daddy, does this mean no one can ever force us to part ways again? Yes, my dear. As an American, I am no longer susceptible to such threats. That's good, she responded, alleviating my fear. Now you don't have to be afraid anymore. After serving 11 months, Amanda was released and resided with her parents, starting the gradual process of mending her relationship with our children. The initial visit under supervision felt uncomfortable. Amanda appeared older, less vibrant. Prison had transformed her. She admitted remorsefully as the kids played around, "I'm sorry for all I caused you and them." "Yes, I understand." "Do you think they'll ever pardon me?" she asked anxiously. "They are children, Amanda. Children tend to forgive, but rebuilding trust is essential." "I realize that," she replied. "I'm seeking help, trying to grasp why I acted the way I did." "That's good," I responded. "The therapist suggests my jealousy stemmed from your success and independence. She claims I was attempting to control you due to feeling powerless over other aspects of life. Perhaps that is true. It does not justify what I did." "No, it does not. I had the opportunity to deport you back to Ukraine. I could have severed your connection with your children permanently." "Yes, you could have. I apologize sincerely, Dmitri." I gazed at her. The woman who once shared my bed for 6 years, delivered my children, and came close to ruining my life. "I forgive you, Amanda. For the sake of Sophia and Alex, it's essential they understand forgiveness can occur." I gestured towards them. "I acknowledged your gratitude, but we won't reconcile. I understand that too. Any attempt to jeopardize my citizenship or ties with my kids will be met with resolute resistance. I assure you." "Good." Over the subsequent months, Amanda gradually re-established connections with our children. The court mandated progressive custody arrangements, beginning with monitored visits and later escalating to overnight stays. She fulfilled parenting courses and continued her therapy. Due to her felony conviction, she lost her marketing position but found employment at a charitable organization. Carlos departed following the completion of his probation. The affair that ignited this chaos had ended. A year post Amanda's release, we finalized our divorce peacefully, given the trials we faced. Amanda received weekend custody on Wednesday evenings, and I retained primary custody of the house. After our departure from the courtroom, she expressed, "I want you to understand that our marriage was genuine. I knew you cherished me, and I reciprocated that affection. However, I became lost. Yes, you did too. Are you currently involved with someone? That's no longer my concern. I wish you find someone worthy of your love. I hope you attain tranquility, Amanda. Me too." 2 years subsequent to my naturalization ceremony, I encountered Maria at a software developers gathering. She was a project manager for a Boulder-based tech firm, a divorced mother of one who comprehended the intricacies of combined families. Our relationship progressed cautiously, extremely cautiously. "I have trust difficulties," I revealed following our third date. "Most divorced individuals do. Mine are somewhat more involved than most." I divulged the entire account to her that evening during dinner. The affair, the threats, the blackmail, the trial. "That's terrible," she responded when I concluded. "But you persevered. Not barely. You battled for your family and future and triumphed. It appears that I did what you asked. Your children are fortunate to have you as their father. I hope so. I know so." Maria encountered Sophia and Alex 6 months later. They took a liking to her instantly, which wasn't surprising. Children can detect authentic kindness. "Is Maria going to be our new mom?" Alex inquired one evening. "Maria is my friend," I responded carefully. "She isn't trying to replace your mother." "But you like her," I said. "Yes, I do like her very much." "That's good. She's nice," Alex replied. Maria and I tied the knot 2 years later at a small ceremony held at Red Rocks, the same location where I had proposed to Amanda many years ago. However, this occasion felt distinct, more mature, and thoughtful. My parents arrived from Ukraine for the wedding, marking their first visit since my naturalization. "You seem content," my mother observed during the reception dance. "I am happy." "That's good. You deserve happiness. We all do." Sophia and Alex were part of our wedding party. Confidently and resiliently, they had grown as children, enduring all they had witnessed. At the reception, Amanda presented a considerate gift and stayed only to congratulate us and bid farewell to the kids. Later, Maria noted, "She seems altered." Indeed, she was altered. Prison and therapy had transformed her. "Do you believe she's genuinely changed?" "I suspect she's endeavoring. That's all any of us can strive for." 3 years following my marriage to Maria, I began addressing immigration law conferences on the topics of extortion and domestic abuse. My tale served as a case study demonstrating how immigration status can be exploited by abusive partners. The threats were not merely directed at me. I'd tell audiences of lawyers and advocates. They targeted my children. When someone jeopardizes your immigration status, they're endangering your family ties. After one presentation, a lawyer inquired, "What advice would you give to someone confronted by similar threats?" I responded, "Record every incident. Report the threats to law enforcement. Avoid letting fear dictate your choices, and bear in mind that the truth ultimately surfaces, even when it seems challenging." Officer Walsh, who had managed my fraud case, attended one of my speeches. "You've become quite an advocate," she remarked later. "Given my experiences, I feel compelled to assist others in avoiding a similar ordeal. It turns out that cases like yours are more common than people think. Lawyers who threaten fraud, withdraw support for green card applications, and even call immigration enforcement during domestic disputes. What can be done about it? Primarily education. People must understand that immigration extortion is illegal and that victims have rights, and that the system eventually functions. Yes, when individuals like you stand up to such actions. 5 years after Amanda's arrest, I received an unexpected call. "Dimitri, it's Amanda." "Hi, Amanda. I'm calling because I want to thank you." "Thank me for what?" "For granting forgiveness. For allowing me back into the kids' lives. You're not holding it against me for attempting to harm their father, yet you were the one who did so. That's usually something hard to forgive. It wasn't for your sake, though I understand that. Nevertheless, how are you coping? There seems to be some positive change. You're getting married. His name is Tom, a teacher, and he accepts my past despite knowing it. I'm overjoyed for you. The kids seem fond of him too. As for Dmitri, have we connected? Well, I recall our marriage vividly now, the affection, the reality, the kindness you showed me. I can't explain why I tried to destroy it all. I can't justify my actions even though fear may have driven me. Amanda, there's no need for us to rehash the past. I'm aware. I merely want you to understand that I acknowledge the truth now. I always knew you were aware of it. I apologize. Are you planning to attend my wedding? This question took me aback. Would you prefer my presence there? Yes, as the father of our children and as someone who knew me at a time when I was better than I eventually became, I will consider it. In the end, I did go to Amanda's wedding. It was an intimate event at her parents' home, attended only by family and close friends. Tom appeared to be a good man, patient, kind, capable of loving someone despite their flaws. Sophia and Alex served as flower girl and ring bearer. Their faces shone with joy as they watched their mother appear content. Thank you for coming, Amanda expressed during the reception. You're welcome. I want to let you know that I share our story with Tom occasionally. The entire story. How we met, fell in love, how I destroyed everything, and how you helped save our family. No, I didn't save our family. You saved our children's relationship with their mother. That's close enough. They needed their mother. Even after what I did, especially after what you did, I still don't understand. Years after uncovering Amanda's infidelity, I found myself testifying before a congressional subcommittee on immigration law reform. The chairwoman asked, "Mr. Volkov, you've become an advocate for immigrants facing domestic abuse. Can you explain why this issue is crucial?" Madam Chair, an immigrant's status influences all facets of their life. When abusers leverage that status as a weapon, they endanger everything: family ties, careers, homes, futures. What measures would you suggest to safeguard victims better? Enhanced training for Uscis officers to identify extortion. Clearer avenues for victims to report threats. Following your testimonial, a woman named Rebecca Chen, an immigration attorney from San Francisco, approached me. "Hello, Mr. Volkov," she said. "I appreciate your efforts. I'm an immigration lawyer myself." To the question of what I would convey to lawmakers concerned about excessive attention given to false immigration reports, I'd express that such fabrications harm everyone. They squander government resources, endanger innocent families, and tarnish the trustworthiness of the immigration system. Therefore, we should vigorously prosecute these false claims. To those immigrants who confront similar challenges, stand your ground, document everything, report the threats. Don't let fear dictate your life. Although the system isn't flawless, it can function effectively if you make it do so. Last year, I had a client who received extortion threats from her former spouse. Using your case as a reference, I engaged local law enforcement. The outcome? He was brought to justice, and she was safeguarded. Your case served as our guide. I'm pleased it proved useful. It's proving beneficial for many others. You should know that. In the evening, I phoned Maria from my hotel room in Washington. "How did your testimony go?" "I believe it went well. It felt odd discussing personal matters in Congress. You're making an impact." "Perhaps. Definitely. Sophia contacted me during your testimony." "Indeed?" "She watched it online." "Really?" "She's proud of her father." "What did she say?" "She stated that you transformed something awful into something useful." "Intelligent child. She inherited that from you." Upon my return to Denver, Sophia and Alex were there to greet me, holding homemade signs. "Welcome home, Dad, and our hero." "We saw you on TV," Alex declared. "How was Congress?" Sophia inquired. "Impressive. It was an honorable experience." Many influential individuals are tackling complex predicaments, similar to ones you faced with your mother. Yes, those are the issues. Are you planning to aid in reshaping legal policies? I intend to attempt it. That's good, as no children should be burdened by their fathers being incarcerated. No, they shouldn't be. On a particular night, as I put Sophia to bed, she posed a question that took me aback. Dad, do you ever wish you hadn't married Mom? After some reflection, I responded, no, dear. If I hadn't married your mother, I wouldn't have you and Alex. But she caused you great pain. Indeed, she did. It took a considerable amount of time to heal. Yes, it did. But we are fine now. We are more than fine. We are content. And Mom is happy too. Yes, she is. Thus, the hardships might have been worthwhile. Maybe they were, dear. Maybe they were. 15 years after I unearthed Amanda's phone messages for the first time, I was asked to address a naturalization ceremony in Denver. Observing 100 new Americans swear their oath of allegiance stirred memories of my own citizenship journey, an unexpected path fraught with betrayal, threats, court battles, and prolonged uncertainty. Yet, amidst the ceremony, I recognized a crucial truth. The American dream isn't about escaping adversity. It's about having resources and structures to conquer hardships. It's about safeguards for the weak and courts that uphold those regulations. It's about retaliating when someone attempts to shatter your life and a chance to emerge victorious. Afterwards, a man around his 30s approached me, visibly anxious but resolute. Mr. Volkov, I'm Hassan al-Rahman. I recall your talk last month on immigration extortion. How are you faring? I'm doing better now. I heeded your guidance. I meticulously recorded everything, alerted authorities about the dangers, hired a legal representative. Last week, my ex-spouse was detained. The district attorney suggested I could retain custody of the children. That's fantastic news. I want to express my gratitude. Your account provided me with encouragement. You instilled hope within yourself. You stood up for your rights. It was intimidating. I assume it was. But you were correct. The system functions if one makes it function. Sometimes it does. Mr. Volkov. Yes. Do you ever have second thoughts about moving to America? As I surveyed the joyous scene unfolding in the federal building, newly naturalized citizens embracing relatives, snapping photos with their certificates, planning festivities to commemorate their accomplishment, I responded, never. This nation is my home. Despite the hardships I've endured, the threats, the apprehension, and the legal disputes, America has bestowed upon me something priceless: the opportunity to battle for my family and emerge victorious. That evening, I returned to Maria and our combined family. Sophia was engrossed in her homework at the kitchen table. In the living room, Alex was constructing a Lego creation, while Emma, Maria's daughter, was honing her violin skills in the den. The atmosphere was boisterous and unstructured, yet ordinary. How went the ceremony? Maria inquired. Enlightening. It reaffirmed my affection for this nation, even amidst hardships. Especially amidst hardships. The children desire to order pizza for dinner. That sounds ideal. As we congregated around the table that night, I cast my gaze upon the faces of my kin, both biological and adopted, native-born and naturalized, and I experienced a sensation I hadn't anticipated since that tragic evening 15 years prior. I felt secure, not because calamities wouldn't occur, but because I recognized that if they did, we possessed the means to combat them. We had laws shielding us, courts ready to hear our pleas, and above all, we had each other. Amanda phoned during dinner, requesting to converse with the children. Her voice expressed contentment and stability. Her voice lacked the previous dread or manipulation, replacing it with warmth when addressing Tom after speaking to Sophia and Alex. "How's Tom?" I queried once she finished. "He's well," she replied, discussing potential parenthood. "That's fantastic." It seemed odd to consider a new beginning at 41. "Indeed, age is merely a label," echoed the man who became an American citizen at 34. "Entirely correct," he acknowledged. "Dimitri? Yes, thank you for not abandoning us. You didn't give up on any of us. Family doesn't abandon family, even when family intends to ruin family, most especially then." Following our conversation, Maria scrutinized me. "She's considering pregnancy. How do you feel about that?" "I'm overjoyed for her. She deserves another chance at happiness," she remarked. You're a better person than I am. No, I'm simply someone who learned that harboring anger only hurts oneself more than it does others. When did you learn this lesson? In a federal courtroom as I watched the mother of my children receive her prison sentence. And did you feel pity for her? I felt compassion for all of us. That evening, as I prepared Alex for bed, he posed a question that struck me with his maturity. Dad, when I get older and marry, how will I know if my wife truly loves me? My response was thoughtful. That's quite a deep query, son. Let me ensure she isn't like your mother. Your mom cares for you, Alex. I understand that, but she didn't love you properly. Indeed, she did not. Not in the end. Now, how do I know true love? I pondered and replied. True love transcends emotions, son. It involves making conscious decisions. Choosing honesty when it's tough. Choosing to protect rather than hurt. Choosing to build together instead of destroying. Were you wrong with Mom? No, I wasn't. Your mother made the wrong choices, but that isn't the same. I see. But that seems unfair. It can be, but remember, you can only control your own decisions. You can choose to love wisely, but you cannot force someone else to reciprocate in the same way. Choosing carefully is crucial, as unfair situations often arise. Observe how they treat those who can't aid them, handle problems, and react towards you when upset or afraid. If they falter in these tests, then they are not a suitable partner, even if affection abounds, especially so if it does. Alex listened gravely. I'll take that to heart. In the 20th year since my initial arrival in America, I was asked to deliver the keynote address at a gathering for immigration lawyers. The theme was Surviving Immigration Extortion, a Family's Tale. As I scanned the audience filled with lawyers, advocates, and social workers, I felt the burden of accountability. They would employ my words to aid other families enduring similar perils. 20th year ago, I embarked on this journey to America with a suitcase, a degree in computer science, and the conviction that this land would afford me the opportunity to construct a more prosperous existence. My expectations were met, but not as anticipated. I assumed the American dream encompassed chances for advancement and prosperity, ascending ladders, and settling into a secure middle-class existence. While those elements are present, they're not the crux of it. The essential aspect of the American dream lies here. When someone attempts to ruin your life, you possess the means to defend yourself. When your family is threatened, laws exist for your protection. If someone slanders you to the authorities, courts are available to hear your truth. If anyone tries to exploit your immigration status against you, prosecutors will hold them responsible. That's what distinguishes America. Not the absence of adversity, but the prevalence of justice. My wife attempted to deport me. She filed false reports with federal agencies and tried to turn my own children against me. However, the system prevailed. She was prosecuted. I became a citizen. In this gathering, our kids grasped the significance of truth and the value of standing up for righteousness, even when it's challenging. To the lawyers present, your clients are dealing with alarming dangers that seem insurmountable. Assist them in comprehending they need not confront these threats on their own. To anyone tuned in who may be enduring similar perils, keep records of everything, report the crimes, and don't let fear dictate your existence. And to America, I am grateful for providing me with the opportunity to fight for my family and emerge victorious. My speech was overshadowed by a standing ovation that lasted longer than my speech. Subsequently, a woman in her 50s with graying hair and compassionate eyes approached me. Judge Patricia Martinez, I learned, was the one who sentenced my ex-wife. Your Honor, I recall you vividly. I wish to inform you that your case significantly altered my approach towards immigration-related domestic abuse cases. How does it affect them? Since then, I treat these cases with greater gravity and possess a better understanding of the destructive nature of such threats. I'm content that something favorable emerged from it. It means more than you realize. Since the trial, we've pursued several similar cases, leveraging your case as a precedent with favorable results. Victims are safeguarded and offenders are brought to justice, which was my aim. How is your ex-wife faring? She seems well. She remarried and had another child. She's been an attentive mother to our kids. Do I ever wish for a harsher sentence? No. Justice isn't about retribution. It's about protection and accountability, which is a commendable viewpoint. It took me time to reach this point. Few others do. That night, I contacted Sophia at college. She was a sophomore at the University of Colorado, majoring in international relations with an emphasis on immigration policy. How did the conference go, Dad? It went well. I shared our story once more. Does recounting it ever become tiresome? At times. But then I encounter someone it's benefited, and I recall why it matters. I'm proud of you. I feel the same way, my dear. Dad? Yes. Desire to become an immigration lawyer. Affirmative. Aim is to assist families like ours. Understand that it's a challenging career path. Yes, but significant. Offer guidance for law school preparation. Will do. Regarding Dad? Inquire. Yes. Gratitude expressed. Thank you. For what? For instilling the value that fighting for justice is always valuable. Recognize self-learning as well. I did, Sophia. 5 years elapsed, saw Sophia marry David Kim, a fellow lawyer, at her law school wedding. The ceremony reoccurred at Red Rocks, maintaining family tradition. Alex, then 21, was an engineering student at Colorado School of Mines, following in his grandfather's footsteps. Emma had graduated from high school and started at Colorado State. Amanda present with Tom and their 8-year-old daughter, Lucy. Noticeable change in Amanda, happy and settled, distinct from the desperate woman who once jeopardized my citizenship 25 years prior. Beautiful ceremony, commented during the reception. Sophia primarily orchestrated much of it on her own, demonstrating an admirable sense of style. She inherits this from her mother. Amanda gave a smile. Was she a good mother or a bad one? The one who nurtured a daughter tough enough to champion justice. That takes generosity. It's accurate. She mentioned her intention to focus on immigration law. Yes, in part, due to our experiences. I don't know if I should feel proud or ashamed. Be proud. She's transforming our suffering into something beneficial, similar to what you did and our entire family has done. Dimitri. Yes. Do you believe we would have made it if the affair hadn't occurred? Honestly, I pondered this. I can't say for certain. We were drifting apart before the affair. Perhaps we would have found our way back to one another. Maybe not. I think we would have. But then we wouldn't have discovered what we learned. What did we learn? That love alone is insufficient. Honesty, courage, and commitment are also essential. Yes, and that forgiveness is feasible, even when it seems impossible. Yes, children are stronger than people often believe. Indeed, much stronger. Do you suppose they can ever forgive me? They adore you, Amanda. They always have. Even after everything that transpired between us, especially after the ordeals you subjected them to. They understood that individuals evolve, that errors don't condemn someone for eternity. I wish it were true. I know it is. Later that night, as the celebration started winding down, I found myself with Maria at the same vantage point where I had proposed to Amanda 30 years ago. The city lights of Denver lay before us, sparkling like celestial bodies confined to Earth. What thoughts are occupying your mind? Maria inquired. How disparate my life has become from what I anticipated. Better or worse, more intricate, but ultimately better. Despite the torment, the pain gave all else significance. That's quite profound for a software engineer. I've had ample time to ponder. Maria leaned on me. Have you ever pondered about how events would have unfolded if Amanda hadn't made those threats? Occasionally. I believe things would have taken a different course. We likely would have parted ways amicably. The children may have grown up bewildered and upset. I might never have chosen the path of an advocate. Were the threats essential? Not at all. Yet, they unveiled something significant. That was, the system can function effectively when people are determined to protect it. Now, Sophia intends to be part of that system. Yes, she's already proving to be a formidable lawyer. On the following day, Sophia and David embarked on their honeymoon in Italy. Alex resumed school. Emma returned to Fort Collins. The house felt tranquil after the wedding commotion. Back to routine, Maria remarked as we cleared away the last remnants of the reception. This is our new normal. What do you mean? Our kids are grown, embarking on their own journeys. This is the next chapter. Are you at peace with that? I believe so. It's just a different phase. 25 years on, the efforts we invested in safeguarding our children's futures seem to have paid off, right? Even after the harrowing experiences they faced. That afternoon, I received a call from retired Detective Torres, who still occasionally consults on immigration-related crimes. Dimitri, I wanted to share some news. What's up, Frank? Remember the case precedent that stemmed from your situation? It recently helped secure a conviction in a similar case. Is that so? A woman in Phoenix was using false immigration reports to threaten her husband. Her attorney referenced our case, and the prosecutor applied our investigation methods. What was the verdict? The man received a 5-year sentence. His citizenship process went smoothly afterward. That's fantastic. It appears your case is still making a difference a quarter of a century later. I'm pleased. You should take pride in this, Dmitri. You didn't just protect your own family. You established safeguards for other families as well. We all played a part in that. Sarah Kim, prosecutors, and Judge Martinez affirmative. It began with your unwillingness to be intimidated. I had assistance. You displayed bravery, which made the impact. That night, while in my home office, Alex called from college. Dad, I have something to tell you. What's new, son? I'm changing my major. From engineering? Why? I wish to study criminal justice. Indeed. What sparked this decision? I've been contemplating the ordeal you faced with Mom, about how Detective Torres and the prosecutors aided our family. And what then? And I desire to do that. I want to assist families dealing with domestic abuse and extortion. That's a significant shift. I am aware, yet it feels fitting. Have you spoken to your wife about this? Yes. She supports the idea. Truly? She suggested that perhaps some good could come from her poor choices. What are your thoughts on that? I believe she is correct. I believe I can help others due to my understanding of victims' experiences. Alex, you were young when those events unfolded. Yet, I recall the fear that we might be separated, and I remember it vividly. I remember the trial, the uncertainties, everything. And now, your desire to help other children avoid such hardships resonates with me. Similarly, my goal is to aid other families who find themselves in similar situations. Your maturity is commendable. Are you prepared to stand by me as I pursue this? Indeed, I am. But are you certain about this path? I am convinced. 6 months later, I was invited to address the FBI Academy at Quantico on the topic of domestic crimes related to immigration. In the audience was Alex, who had enrolled in a criminal justice program specializing in domestic violence and federal offenses. Today, let me discuss with you a type of crime that is frequently disregarded: immigration extortion, the manipulation, threat, or abuse of family members using immigration status. This isn't merely a civil issue or a domestic spat. Yearly, it inflicts harm on thousands of individuals, necessitating a complex law enforcement response. The crime is immigration extortion, frequently committed by us citizens fully aware of its destructive potential. They comprehend that their threats jeopardize every aspect of their victims' life: employment, housing, family relationships, and basic safety. The victims are often hesitant to report these crimes due to fearing the very system designed for protection. They dread any contact with law enforcement or immigration authorities may lead to deportation. To ensure effective handling, federal agents must be knowledgeable about this issue, combining sensitivity and expertise. Recently, I spent 2 hours training federal agents on identifying immigration extortion, gathering evidence, and collaborating with immigration authorities to safeguard victims. Following the presentation, a young agent approached me. Mr. Volkov, I'm Agent Sarah Chen. Thank you for your training. Appreciated. I have a case currently that bears striking resemblance to your past experiences. It involves a husband threatening his wife with deportation, despite her having been legally present in the country for 8 years and having 3 US citizen children. What kind of threats are being made? He's hinting at reporting her for marriage fraud if she attempts to leave him, and falsely accusing her of lying about her immigration status to ICE. Is there any truth to these allegations against her? No, her documentation is completely legitimate, but she's terribly frightened. What is your proposed course of action? Use your case as a blueprint, document the threats, collaborate with local law enforcement, and build a federal case. Furthermore, ensure her immigration status remains secure throughout the process. Good. Keep me informed if you require help, as I occasionally consult on such cases. 3 months later, Agent Chen contacted me with an update. We've apprehended him, Mr. Volkov. 5-year imprisonment for immigration, blackmail, and falsehoods. And the victim? Her naturalization application was successful last week. Her children no longer need to fear losing their mother. That's great news. Your case served as a guide. We wouldn't have achieved this without your precedent. I'm glad it proved useful. There's something more. What's that? The victim intends to become an advocate herself. She wishes to aid other women facing comparable situations. That's commendable. She asked me to convey her gratitude. She said knowing someone else had survived this gave her the fortitude to stand up for herself. I will pass on her message. You gave her that resolve. That weekend, our entire family assembled for Alex's college graduation. He completed his criminal justice degree with honors and was accepted into the FBI Academy. I told him at the graduation dinner how proud I was of him. "Thanks, Dad," he replied. "Are you ready for the academy?" he asked. "I believe so. I understand it will be challenging. You are stronger. You can handle it." Raising her glass, Sophia, now a thriving immigration lawyer, declared, "To Alex, your journey mirroring Dad's in shielding families." "To Alex," we collectively echoed. Present were Amanda, Tom, and Lucy. Emotions ran high as Amanda whispered, "I could never have foreseen," her voice trailing off, "that my errors would steer both my children towards justice careers." Maria offered a hopeful perspective. Perhaps that was the intended outcome all along. Pausing, she questioned, "Do you think there was a reason for all the suffering?" Maria responded, "I believe pain can inspire purpose if we allow it to." Turning to Dmitri, Amanda sought an answer. "Do you share this belief?" I replied. "Our children learned invaluable lessons from what we endured." "What did they learn?" I continued. "They grasped that standing up for justice is worth its cost, even when the price is steep, especially when the price is steep." 2 years on, I was summoned to testify before Congress once more, this time discussing the efficiency of federal prosecution for domestic crimes related to immigration. To the committee chairman, I stated, "In the past 27 years since my case commenced, there have been significant advancements in safeguarding victims of immigration extortion. Federal prosecutors now comprehend these offenses and treat them with gravity. Local law enforcement has been educated to recognize the indicators. Immigration authorities have established protective measures. Yet, the most crucial aspect is awareness among victims. They are aware that they have choices, that they can resist." Mr. Volkov, what would your response be to those who contend that prosecuting such cases is an unnecessary drain on federal resources? I'd argue that safeguarding families from extortion and mistreatment is precisely what federal resources should be allocated for. Moreover, prosecuting false reports to federal agencies upholds the sanctity of our immigration system. Has there been a reduction in these crimes? The answer is complex yes, in terms of more cases being reported, which is positive as it indicates victims are more willing to speak out. However, no, if we consider whether the overall incidence of such crimes has decreased. I believe offenders are now more mindful of potential repercussions. What remains essential? Enhanced cooperation among agencies, increased training for border officials, and ongoing education for immigrants regarding their rights. Mr. Volkov, you've dedicated a significant part of your life to this matter. Why do you do it? Because no one should have to make the choice between family and safety. Because immigration status should never be used as a tool of oppression. And because America functions optimally when we safeguard the defenseless. Thank you for your commitment to this cause. Thank you for tuning in. Following the hearing, A young woman in the corridor approached me. Congresswoman Lisa Torres, I gathered. You're Frank Torres' daughter. Indeed. How is your father? Well, he's proud of the work you've been doing. He rescued my family. He said you saved yourself. He merely equipped you with the necessary tools. Your father is a good man. He certainly is. And Mr. Volkov? Yes, indeed. Weeks from now, I'll be introducing a bill known as the Volkov-Martinez Act, aimed at bolstering protections for victims of immigration extortion. I was taken aback to learn that it has been named in reference to my case. Is this true? The bill originated from our experiences and the assistance provided by Judge Martinez in drafting its language. What measures does the legislation include? It outlines specialized training demands for federal agents, mandates interagency collaboration, and establishes protocols to safeguard victims. This is remarkable. You've been pushing for these reforms for nearly 3 decades. The time has come. I don't know what words to express. Will you pledge your support? Naturally. 6 months later, I found myself in the White House Rose Garden, witnessing the president sign the Volkov-Martinez Act into law. Sophia was present, now a distinguished attorney at a prominent immigration law firm. Alex was there, adorned in his FBI uniform, having graduated with honors from the academy. Maria was there too, accompanied by her daughter Emma, who has since specialized in domestic violence as a social worker. Even Amanda attended, following my invitation. She transformed into an advocate for victims of domestic abuse, aiding women in such situations. Today, the president stated our dedication to safeguarding immigrant families from exploitation intensifies. The Volkov-Martinez Act equips federal agencies with the necessary tools and training to identify immigration extortion and shield its victims. This law emerged due to one man's resistance, one family's persistence, and a network of advocates' unyielding determination. As I observed the president sign the bill, memories of that night 30 years ago resurfaced when Amanda had initially endangered my immigration status, leaving me fearful, isolated, questioning the system's protection. Now, the very same system is being bolstered to safeguard other families confronting similar perils. What's going through your mind? Sophia softly asked. What a journey we've all been on. Indeed, it has been quite remarkable. Yes, it certainly has. Father, yes, I want to express my gratitude for not abandoning us, for providing me with something worthy of fighting for. Following the event, a reception took place in the East Room. I found myself standing next to Amanda by the windows overlooking the South Lawn. This feels unreal, she remarked. Every part of it? Absolutely. Being inside the White House, witnessing a law bearing our case being signed, seeing our children thrive and prosper. It's been a long trek. Dmitri, may I ask you something? Of course. Could any of this have transpired if I hadn't made those threats? You mean would I have taken up advocacy work? Exactly. And would the children have pursued the careers they did? Would these safeguards even exist? I contemplated before responding. I can't say for certain. Perhaps I would have simply been a software engineer living a peaceful suburban life, and maybe that would have been enough. For me, perhaps. Yet, not every family reaped benefits from the legal decisions stemming from our case. So, you believe my errors served a greater purpose. Indeed, I concur. Our entire family transformed your errors into something valuable, and it includes me, especially you. You've undeniably aided numerous women to escape harmful situations. I had no choice but to learn what abuse entailed. Yes, I did. I apologize for the necessity of learning this through my actions towards you. I'm sorry that pain drove you to consider abuse as an option. You have truly forgiven me, haven't you? Indeed. How? By releasing anger, we spared our children from unnecessary suffering. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It's deciding to construct something better. What did we create? A family that appreciates justice, offspring who advocate for righteousness, and laws protecting the defenseless. That's not insignificant. No, it's not insignificant. One evening, our extended family convened at a restaurant close to the White House for dinner. 3 generations under one roof. I'd like to propose a toast, everyone, Alex initiated, holding up his wine glass. To Dad, who demonstrated that standing up for justice is never futile. To Mom, Sophia continued, who showed us that change is possible and reconciliation can occur. To Maria, Emma added, who taught us that families can be rebuilt stronger than before. To all of us, I concluded, as we toasted, for demonstrating that love conquers fear. To all of us, our voices harmonized. As I surveyed the table filled with loved ones, biological and stepchildren, ex-wife and current wife, in-laws and chosen family, it wasn't the family I envisioned when I first arrived in America 3 decades ago. It was messier, more intricate, woven together by conflict and healing. But it was ours, and it was beautiful. "What lies ahead for you, Dad?" Sophia asked as we left the restaurant. "What do you mean?" He replied. "You've dedicated 3 decades to fighting for immigration rights. The law has been passed." She clarified. "Established past events, what's the next venture for you?" After contemplation, perhaps it's becoming a grandfather. Alex inquired, smirking. Sophia, flushed, responded, discussing matters with David. Regarding offspring? Maria queried. Sophia confirmed, beaming. A discussion about children. The table echoed with enthusiasm, more toasts exchanged, more embraces shared, more happiness permeated the air. A grandchild was proposed by Amanda, delightfully. Our first grandchild. However, Tom gently corrected, reminding that Lucy is Demetri's step-grandchild, making her our second grandchild. Lucy inquired about my role as a grandfather, wondered if I would share tales of the past. The old days when I and Grandma Amanda were married, filled with complications. If I would? Yes, Lucy, to educate them on how families can be mended. Mended families require effort, forgiveness, love, justice, and hope. Sophia echoed the sentiment of hope, concluding the discussion. In the 8th month, I cradled my granddaughter, Elena Sophia Kim Volkov, in the very room where she had just been born. "She's stunning," I murmured to Sophia. "She has the same looks as you did when a baby," Amanda remarked, glancing at photos on Sophia's phone. "Does she?" They both shared the same dark tresses, bore a similar serious countenance. "She's going to be quite a challenge," David forecasted. "Great," I responded. "The world needs more challenges." "What will you tell her about her family background?" Sophia inquired. "The truth, that her family fought for justice and triumphed. Every bit of it. Age appropriate, but yes, every part. Even the challenging sections, especially the challenging parts. She must know that difficulties can be surmounted, and that people can evolve," Amanda suggested. "And that love conquers all in the end," Maria added. "Does love truly conquer?" David questioned. "Does it conquer in the end?" I looked around at this peculiar gathering of individuals in the hospital room, contemplating their unity. Family members, both former spouses and current ones, children and stepchildren, assembled to embrace a fresh chapter in our intricate, stunning family. "Indeed," I responded, "love triumphs. It may not resemble our expectations, and it doesn't arrive without sacrifice, but it prevails." "How can you be certain?" Sophia inquired. I glanced at baby Elena, nestled securely in my embrace, asleep. "Because we are standing here, all of us together. And this child will mature realizing that her grandfather immigrated to America with aspirations alone, that her grandmother made regrettable errors but found redemption, that her parents strive for fairness, and that her family never abandons one another." "That's quite an inheritance," Amanda remarked. "It's our legacy, all of ours." Yes. As I cradled my granddaughter, memories flooded back of the letter I penned to my parents 3 decades ago, sharing the news of my engagement to an American woman and embarking on a new journey. In truth, I had no inkling of what that life would truly manifest as the deceit, the threats, the court cases, the reconstruction, the activism, the laws, the healing. Yet, I wouldn't alter any part of it. For all parts of it, the agony and the victories, the dread and the valor, the collapse and the resurrection, every single one led to this moment, to this family, to this child who would come to know that in America, justice is achievable, families can mend, and the fight for what's right is always worthwhile. "Welcome to America, Elena," I murmured. Welcome to the family. In that hospital room, engulfed by the individuals I cherished most, I finally comprehended the essence of the American dream. It wasn't about evading adversity. It was about possessing the means to surmount it. It wasn't about flawless families. It was about families capable of enduring imperfection and becoming more robust. It wasn't about never stumbling. It was about always getting back up. And it wasn't about personal triumph, striving for enduring achievements such as safeguarding laws for upcoming generations, instilling courage in young ones to uphold justice, and fostering love that triumphs over adversity. This embodies the American dream. Each battle fought was a worthy sacrifice towards realizing it.